It's nice to see some people are still here. Not everybody's gone to the climate demonstrations. Maybe someone will join me later on. In any case, I'll be talking about designing digital interactions. What are the do's and don'ts in designing digital interactions? And to give you a little introduction, I'm going to start with a story. So, about a year ago, I was applying for citizenship, US citizenship for our children. And the process was underway, and I needed information on the process. So I went to the website of USCIS, so the US Citizenship and Immigration Services, and tried to find this information I needed. I looked and looked, I didn't find it. Eventually, finally, I tried calling to the US to try to get someone to help me. Didn't work, I kept getting an IVR, there's time changes, it's not so much fun to call to the US. Website and IVR said, need help? Ask our virtual assistant, Emma. So I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a try. So I took out my cell phone and started interacting with Emma. I said, Emma, I need help. Can you please help me with this question? I guess you know what the answer is. Emma says, I'm sorry, I did not understand your question. Can you please reformulate? This has happened to other people before. Okay, so I reformulated my question 10 times. Emma was not able to help me. I was just about going to throw my cell phone out of the window. Very frustrating experience. So what is the message from this? When designing digital interactions, there's a lot you can do really wrong. And the question I'd like to address today is how to design better digital interactions. I'm going to start out, what do we know? We have some studies. I'm going to present a couple of results that we have. These are results that stem from experiments with a healthcare chatbot. So this healthcare chatbot assists people and coaches people on health issues. And there are going to be 3 topics I'll talk about. The first is the engagement or the onboarding process, so when you start to engage with a chatbot. The second has to do with the communicative style that the chatbot uses. And the third has to do with the persona or the characteristics of the chatbot. Okay, let's get started. Onboarding. The first very important maybe obvious, but you need a formal introduction. So, hi, I am Milla, I'm your personal health companion. Start with that. A don't. Do not come with a privacy statement up front. All of the tests, all the studies show this does not work. However, make clear what your value proposition is. Why shall the user engage with a chatbot? I can help you track your blood sugar levels and insulin intake and file a summaries report to your general practitioner. Boom. I just want to mention something about this study, so you have the background. So this was an online experiment, actually with a mock healthcare chatbot, and there were 250 participants, and all the results I have talked about and will be talking about have to do with how these factors influence user satisfaction with a chatbot. And I also want to say this is ongoing work of 2 wonderful PhD students from a sister lab of ours at ETH Zurich. Next, communication style. So a clear do is use formal language with emojis. So, did I understand you correctly? You are a 24-year-old woman, blah, 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 blah. Not, hey, I dig it, or something like that. No. A don't. Humor, no. Humor does not work, at least here in the health context. Of course, everything you tell me stays between us. I won't post it on Facebook, no. We're going to try it in other situations to see if it works better there. Then a final topic is the persona. To put it really simply, the illustration beats the photo of a real person. The female beats the male, and a peer beats the professional. Okay, so it's great we have these results, but still there's a huge amount of things we do not know. And what we're studying really trying to figure out at the moment is how can we improve digital interactions with the means of personalization? So personalization can have a clear benefit, bring clear added value for the patient. You don't have to type in the things all the time. You have suggestions made, defaults that are adapted. But it is a thin line for it being creepy. So if I interact with a chatbot and the chatbot knows everything about me, even though I hadn't shared it, it just is not a nice feeling. So we're trying to establish where this line exactly lies. Then the question, digital versus personal. When is it great to interact digitally with the healthcare practitioner, with the school as a student, or with the company as a customer? And when do you really need the personal interaction? And then finally, the trust. I think in almost all of the talks today, we heard the word trust mentioned. We are doing research on that. We call it the dynamics of trust. We're trying to understand what in a digital interaction increases trust of users and what destroys it. And when I say we, what do I mean? We're a lab at ETH Zurich. We are a joint research initiative of ETH and Mobiliar. Mobiliar is the oldest Swiss insurance company in Switzerland. And as you saw before, the questions we're trying to answer and are addressing are very complex. So I'm really happy we have this great young team of researchers from different backgrounds. So we have the data scientists, we have the psychologists, we have the marketing people, of course, the computer scientists, and it's just a big pleasure to work with them. And although we are an ETH research group, we have this advantage of having this close connection to the company. So this means we get to do real research with real data and with real cases there. So one of the next things we're going to be working on is the results you saw previously. We'll be testing live with customers for a new chatbot that has been developed for car breakdown assistance. Now, if I get back to the original question or topic of Emma, so I thought before I come here and badmouth Emma, in front of everybody, I check and see what it's like a couple of weeks ago. And it turns out Emma was able to help me right away. She led me exactly where gave me the information I needed. She fulfilled her value proposition. And moreover, she told me that she was named after Emma Lazarus. Emma Lazarus, it turns out, is a poet who wrote a poem about welcoming immigrants, and it was inscribed in the base of the Statue of Liberty. And this really touched me, and it made my feeling of hostility I had towards this digital interaction turn into trust. Why? Because I had the feeling that the people who developed Emma weren't just trying to get rid of me, but they were actually really trying to help. And so trust, an important aspect of what we're trying to figure out, improving digital interactions. I hope in a year I'll be able to stand here and present the do's and don'ts for trustworthy digital interactions. Thank you.